Oh, holy gosh. I haven't seen this much rain in ages. I tell you what, this will bring back memories. This raining. You tell you what, the film gods love us though. We've turned on the weather for us. It was meant to be raining today, and look at this sun shining in the hills. It's amazing. Look at this. You never know what you're going to find on a back road. We've got some honey here from our mates from Aristea's farm. How cool is that? I don't know if you remember us here, but these guys are survivors. They've come out of the bushfire, and look, they've even still got some cool honey to sell. And last time we were here, just after the bushfire, they still had some veterans in the creek that were learning how to be beekeepers and trying to get reinvigorated in life. And now they're taking it national. How cool is that? For Hives for Heroes, here we come. Hey Mark, how you doing, man?
Good, Mark. How are you, mate?
No, I'm good. You made it through the fire out the other end.
Yeah, we're out the other side finally.
Yeah, almost out the other end anyway,
Well,
I guess.
we're about to start rebuilding. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Awesome. So how are we getting on with all this jolly bushfire business? I mean, last time we were here, your house was still in bits, and you were telling us about how the fire had roared up the gully. And we get here today, and I see all the beautiful green trees and the whole thing. And
Yeah,
well,
so
man,
there's been a lot of clearing. So a lot of clearing of the dead trees. And we've built the shed, so you can see the shed behind us now. The shed was the main priority because the business first before the house. So in the meantime, we're living in the shed.
Oh, okay. That sounds like fun.
And
is that cold?
Oh, it's very cold this time of year, and muddy, as you can see. But the shed first, because business first. Got to have an income to live in the house. And then the house pad, we're preparing that now and start the build in the next few months.
Unbelievable. Shall we have a bit of a look? I like the driveway. I haven't seen water like this from where I come from.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
We had, last month we had your Riverland annual rainfall just in 1 month.
I could imagine. Well, hell, I tell you what, we've had our annual rainfall hasn't even turned up this year. I think we haven't even had an inch. It's looking awful dry. And the gumboots are memorabilia from Wollonga. I got a pair of them in my shed full of spider webs. So last time I was here, this was the building, wasn't it? There was a bit of a house and blooming tin going everywhere, and I think you guys were fairly heartbroken when I saw of it. And
so it was a bit of a mess. Since then, we've had it all cleared up. We've pushed the pad out a little bit further, give us a bit of a larger clearing area. A bit easier to protect. So hopefully we'll start in the next couple of months. We've had the survey ready to start the build. So
just got to wait for the pad to dry a little bit.
And for our friends to come and collect their camper van. But once that's
you know, you could always just go for a drive, innit? What the hell? Ring them up and say, look at us, we're in Darwin. Come see us.
It's probably luxury compared to the shed.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if this is where everybody's beekeeping adventure begins, with a flow hive. Oh, these boys really did do some cool stuff, didn't they? Got us involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So our journey as a family started with the flow hive. Rianne was doing her journey to sustainability, and part of that, she wanted to get her own hive. So I bought her the flow hive and got her some bees and toddled off to Afghanistan. And it's when I came back with my injuries, and I was on some leave after surgery, that I was watching the bees come and go, and I just was sort of feeling better watching the bees, and just really enthralled with their clumsiness as they crash on into the hive. And a bit like people watch aquariums with the bees coming and going, they watch the fish, and for me it was just really therapeutic.
Yeah, for sure. Same. I know what you're talking about. I did the same thing.
Yes.
Sit there and have a look at them, and when they fly in heavy with the nectar, and
absolutely. And I just wanted to get involved more, and I did. And the more I got involved with the hive, I ended up taking over.
Okay.
And we realised, well, then one hive wasn't enough, and from there we just started buying more and more hives. And once you start buying more hives, that's no longer a flow hive sort of
Rules
market.
change.
It becomes a bigger operation, and that's kind of where we started. Long story short, that brought us out to the farm here, and where we are now with bigger and larger apiary.
Yep.
But
And
yeah,
also being able to do Rianne's sort of sustainability farming.
Absolutely.
As actually reality.
yeah, and
That's
that
even better.
and that grew to becoming right into permaculture and organic farming, and that's where we are today.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and it all started with the box of bees.
It did.
It's amazing,
It
isn't it?
did, absolutely.
So at what point do you reckon you sort of got, I guess, for me, getting sucked into beekeeping is like you said, sitting there watching them. Well, I got sucked in because we had some bees in a drum that I wanted to rescue, and I did something similar of sitting there watching them thinking, man, they're busy. How do I get them out of there and put them into a hive that I could actually do something with? I don't know, for me it was kind of cool just to see that some other creatures that were so little could do so much.
Yeah, so for me, I coming back from Afghanistan, I didn't recognise that there was something wrong straight away. Others started to notice, and 2020 hindsight, we now have the diagnosis of PTSD. But that feeling of being better around the bees was something that I ended up discussing with my psychologist, and he mentioned something called mindfulness, and that mindfulness, being in the moment, and that led me to sort of do my own research. I'm big on research. I'm big on learning. I love to look into things in detail. And that sort of led me to a whole heap of groups in the US that were using beekeeping as a form of therapy for veterans with post-traumatic stress, anxiety issues, depression, and transition from service. That made me realise I'm not alone in this. I'm not the only person that's finding beekeeping as a therapy useful for recovery from traumatic experiences. And I thought I want to share that with others.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
And that's why, when you came last time, we were talking about how we were teaching veterans from the farm.
Yeah, because I remember the guys down in the creek still, even after the bushfire, they were
Yeah.
still here. So there you are. So you've got the guys down here and they're beekeeping and they're taking an interest, obviously. And I reckon last time you mentioned that really was starting to help them, like get exposed to beekeeping and actually get a feel for it.
Yeah.
And then you found out about Hives for Heroes.
Yes.
And it's sort of launching a whole nother dimension, which is kind of fascinating to me. When
we were thinking about how can we do more than what we're already doing. We're teaching veterans beekeeping from the farm here, but how do we sort of upscale that? And upscaling a course that is localised to our farm, run by myself. Really, really hard to upscale that, particularly when you're talking about veterans across Australia. And of course, there's different regulations and rules across states. And I'm only one person. And of course, the bushfires, a big spanner in the works there, slowing us down from being able to do anything too large a scale.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I came across Hives for Heroes, which rather than being a program or a teaching structure is a network. It's a network of mentors and veterans, and those veterans are what they call newbies, new people to beekeeping, and they come on board the network and are linked up with a mentor in their area. That mentor is someone who has been doing beekeeping for 3 years or more, and they're linked up together and they do a 3-year tour of duty in beekeeping and learn beekeeping as a skill together, and become engrossed in a new hobby, a new lifelong skill that sort of does two things: gives them that sense of community, sense of belonging, but also helps them to recover from any trauma, anxiety, and sort of transition from that service life back into civilian life.
Yeah, which I haven't actually experienced, but I'm pretty sure that would be rather dramatic when you're into the group of men and this has got a mission and we're heading to do this job, and then you come back and you try to debrief with each other, I would imagine. So that transition into this world, like That's the one good thing about beekeeping, though. It is a pretty loving sort of place, and you end
Absolutely.
up those guys that are in the corner talking about bees.
Absolutely,
instead of, you know,
absolutely. And it's very similar community type environment, and you've got like-minded people and like-minded people sticking together, talking about similar goals and missions. And the thing is, with Hives for Heroes, it was started in 2018 by a guy named Steve Jimenez in Texas, with a whole heap of his mates there, who wanted to get together and do beekeeping together, and their mission is to save bees and save vets. You know, when you're beekeeping, as you know, if you're not planning 3 months ahead, you're in trouble.
Exactly right.
And if you've got a plan for 3 months ahead, then you're less likely to be taking your own life, because you've got something to look forward to. So when you're doing something mindful like beekeeping, you're planning ahead. You've got something to look forward to. You have someone who's relying on you, as well as something. So you've got your mentor who's waiting for you to come and help with the hives, and then you've got the bees who are relying on you. So there's a number of reasons that you have to live, and you've got goals in your life, planning, working towards, and there's a like-minded mission. There is a mission and a goal set out for you.
So really the bees are playing a much bigger picture than just finding some honey.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And the other thing that pops into my mind is that with beekeeping, obviously you're not aiming to create beekeepers out of every veteran, but it's one industry in agriculture where you can basically create a business.
Yes.
Because most agricultural businesses now, you know, if you haven't got a massive, you know, like a family inherited farm or an orchard or whatever it is, you know, whereas with beekeeping you can start small and you can have your own little stall.
Absolutely.
And even in suburbia you can sell a little bit of honey, and that's kind of cool fun, and
That's
the networking
right.
that happens from there.
Raw local honey is something that people are looking for these days. So even if you've got one hive, your neighbours are going to buy it off you. I've got my assistance dog, and I love my assistance dog, and assistance dog programs are fantastic. They are really helpful for things like anxiety. But the assistance dog program, at the end of it, you don't have a skill set or something else to take you forward. All it's really doing is helping to push through the symptoms of your issues. When you do something like beekeeping to deal with your issues, you have a skill set at the end of it and a potential career option.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So things like Hives for Heroes and all the other programs related to that network help the veterans to actually gain a skill at the same time as dealing with their issues. So the idea is that through the 3 years, the first year is that we ask you to learn. So you come along and you meet your mentor and you work with that mentor for the first year. We ask you to invest in your PPE, so get a good suit and gloves. And we don't necessarily need you to get a hive. You work with your mentor on their hive, and you just learn, suck up as much information as you can from that mentor, and just respect them, respect their knowledge, and learn. In the second year, that's when we want you to grow. We want you to grow as a person, grow your apiary, and just grow. In the third year, that's when we want you to become the mentor. So you're still leaning on your mentor for that extra knowledge, but it's your turn to start to do that exponential growth and bring another veteran or emergency service personnel into the fold and start to mentor them.
Yeah, cool. And the good thing about beekeeping is, even when you've been in it for ages, you're still learning something. Like it's still never ever the same. Every season is different, and so even though you got some basics down, but it's still learning.
I can tell you 101 ways not to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think we all learned that one. It's that morning when you come out and go, that was a bad option. No. But yeah, no, that's amazing. So there you go. All can start with a beehive. That's cool. What do you reckon, ladies? Are you in it? Look at that.
All right, buddy, I'll bring it in.
Lovely fella.
He won't hurt you.
He's got a big head.
He does. I know. I can't wait for him to be old, because I'll keep that skull.
That's right, though. Dad went that way. He's taking the hay with him. Clyde, it's that way. Food's that way. Nothing like stolen food, Dad. So you were saying that we've come from the US model and we're going to make it an Australian model, basically? It's like to tweak it a little bit, because us Aussies always like to do a thing a bit Aussie.
Yeah, so we've been talking with Steve, myself and a few others here in Australia. We're bringing Hives for Heroes here to Australia. And there's a few things that we have to do differently. Our constitutions within our incorporated bodies are different.
Of course,
just because we have different rules and regulations for charities.
Yeah.
And one of the things we found that we have to change straight away is the way they do their logo is to have a bee on the American flag. Of course,
okay, yes.
In Australia you can't edit the Australian flag with anything.
So there you go. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah, that was one of the first hurdles we came across. So yeah, there's a few minor differences that we're going to do, but the actual main missions and main goals and the main makeup are going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
So we're already an incorporated body, Hives for Heroes Incorporated here in Australia, and we're looking to have a hard launch in October.
Beautiful.
And hold an event for that launch. We've got mentors already signing up to be on board. So if anyone's interested, they can contact us and if they want to be a newbie or a mentor.
Cool.
And we've already spoken with someone who's keen to come on board and be associated with us. So the Governor General, His Excellency, gave me a call just last week and had a chat to me. He'd heard about Hives for Heroes through Bruce White, OAM, who was at the conference with us in the Riverland, and gave me a call, had a chat to us and said, look, I'd like just to have a look at your governance documents, but otherwise this sounds great. And had his external liaisons officer give me a call, and he's looking to come and be a part of the launch and to promote Hives for Heroes. He himself is a beekeeper and a veteran, of course.
Yeah, exactly right.
So,
I was going to say that. Yeah, so he would have a reference point directly to what you're trying to do, and good on that. Is amazing.
Yeah,
awesome. And that's the cool thing about beekeeping community, isn't it? You go and give a talk at that little conference in the Riverland, and you get me enthused, the next thing you know, the Governor General's ringing you.
Absolutely.
It's like, how cool is that? You've got to love beekeepers.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
It is. And your farm itself, this is very exciting.
Yeah, look,
you're getting that off the ground. I mean, hell, you're a busy boy. I don't know. You're making me feel tired.
to say I'm tired is an understatement.
I reckon. My goodness.
Look, we just keep pushing on. I've got a fantastic family, and I say that in both blood and community around here. Everyone's been really supportive in the community, and I mean Cuddly Creek community, Adelaide Hills community, and also the veteran community. So
it might not have anything to do with the fact that you're a top bloke.
Oh, comes with the name, Mark.
Well, I don't know how the hell we're going to get off this hill without slipping over in the mud. Coming up a hill is easier than going down.
Oh well, my daughter's got a couple of sleds. Maybe we can get.
Maybe we can do that. That could work. Well, that's been awesome, Mark. Great to catch up with you again. We'll have to come back and check out where the next part happens.
Yeah, we'll let you know when the house is up.